What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about Yaupon Holly, otherwise known as Ilex Vomitoria, and also about tea. All right, well, this teacup has a hole in the bottom of it, as you can see, and it was actually created by Thomas and Kathy Arakawa at my request, sort of to mimic a Chawan container, a Japanese tea ceremony container, but adapted obviously to use with bonsai. So I can't use that to drink tea, but the point in having tea in today's video is that Yaupon Holly is actually the only plant native to North America that is naturally caffeinated, and it also makes a really great bonsai subject. So the tea is fantastic, pleasant, sort of a light green tea with no bitterness. And the plant is fantastic for bonsai. So let's take a look at some clip and grow techniques that I use on these Yaupon Holly. All right, so two Ilex that I have been growing for a number of years now. Here on the left is one that I have transplanted into one of those Arakawa teacups. And so you can see the roots are coming out the bottom there and the plant is nice and healthy. This has already been wired. So I've cut back the trunk a couple of times and added some movement. And then I also wired the upper section and this branch down here. So for a small composition like this, once I get to this point, I can actually just sort of focus at this point on clip and grow. So let's start at, well, all right, let's start at the top. One of the things about clip and grow is that if you're going to do entirely clip and grow, you have to build all of the ramification and directionality in the branches by cutting back to, you know, one or two nodes or something like that. And that means that the plant might look kind of bare at times, but you're building in interesting information into the branches, as Michael Hagedorn likes to say. So, for example, this branch right here, it has this straight section, and that's probably too long, so I'll go ahead and clip it back to shorter and make it bud out close to the trunk. Now, with these new shoots on some of the branches that have already been wired or that have more character to them already, I can just cut those back to one or two leaves, and that's going to cause further division of the branching. And one of the reasons why Yaupon Holly is really suitable for this is that it just very reliably buds and pretty quickly buds pretty much anywhere that you cut it. So making these cuts is going to, as soon as the tree kind of reorients and starts growing again, it's going to immediately give me a bunch more branches, and those branches are going to be more compact and smaller leaves as well. Okay, that's most of the trimming done, but I have left this shoot and this shoot alone, and these are really nice and small, so as opposed to trying to wire a larger twig on a Yaupon Holly that can be a little bit perilous in terms of the cracking and difficulty in bending, I should have no problem wiring this, so let me just grab a quick wire and throw it on here. All right. right, so I went ahead and put 2 wires on there, one to bend this guy down and give it a little bit of movement, and the other to bend these 2 small branches down. And there's no splitting or anything going on here. This is the perfect size branch to be wiring on a Yaupon Holly. And a combination of wiring and clip and grow is what's going to give you the fastest result in terms of moving these trees along and creating good bonsai. This one is listed on the Bonsaify website right now, and I'm going to set this aside and take a look at another one. Before I started putting some of those into the teacups, I had test transplanted a few of these because I hadn't worked with them too much. And this was one of the first ones that I test transplanted. So it's been worked on at least 2 or 3 more times, in the sense that I've been clip and growing this for longer than the ones that are in the teacup containers. And that has led to what you see here, which is more fine branching. The leaf reduction is really nice. I mean, you can see compared to my pinky finger that these leaves are actually quite small. And so all I'm going to do today to this is remove a few of the larger leaves so that I can kind of get a look at what the structure looks like and remind myself of that. And then I will come in and kind of remove some of the longer shoots or any branches like this one that are no longer relevant. All right, now that I've trimmed that back and removed some of the larger leaves, I also cut off this branch that was kind of going up like that. This will pop out and this area will fill in, but I need to continue working on the branching coming from here to fill in the back of the crown. And as you can see, it's kind of a cute little tree already, but it has a little ways to go. Keeping it in this slightly oversized growing container is going to make the whole process go faster with the budding in reaction to the cutback. Okay, so of the batch that I put into small containers, a few of them were exposed root, just based on them coming out of the growing containers and having interesting roots. So actually the whole portion of the tree that was above ground I pretty much cut off, and now I'm working with these small shoots on this tree. I'm going to let these guys run and kind of establish a little bit more before I go back and clean up this wound, just to make sure that because it's not very likely that I'm going to get back budding if I mess this up. Although, actually, I'm not even sure whether they will sucker. I haven't seen them do it. As you can see here, this is too long and straight, and I may have missed my opportunity to wire this, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a try and wire this shoot that's coming out of the bottom, wire this shoot, just to start creating a little bit more of a compact crown like what this needs. Now these other shoots, like I could use this as a backup if I decide to take this off or take this back down to here, but let me look at it for a minute first. All right, I'm taking this one off, and I'm gonna cut that back, cut this back, that back, that back. Now the question is, do I want to wire any of those even though they're nice and short? And I think the answer is yes, I want to put a wire on this one. All right, cool. So just one wire to put a little bit of movement into both of those stubs of branches, and I'm going to set this back outside to grow. I haven't quite decided what the front is because I like the roots from both sides, but I'm guessing it's going to be here. This being the foundation for the top that will start developing from these nodes that are left, and it's really just a very small hat of foliage on top of this interest that is coming out in the roots. All right, for a limited time, we're going to be selling this Yaupon Brothers Yaupon Holly Tea. You can find that on Bonsaify.com. If you don't find it on Bonsaify.com because you're watching this video years after I made it, then feel free to pop on over to Yaupon Brothers and pick it up from them directly. They are in Florida, I believe, and they ship inside the U.S. I'm not sure about outside the U.S. If you want to pick up one of these Yaupon Holly bonsai that we put into teacups and other similar small containers, we have those listed on Bonsaify.com right now. We're also selling the starters of these guys if you want to get a young trunk that you can put some movement into. And in fact, to save you the pain of wiring them, we've actually already wired all of the starters to put a little bit of movement into the lower trunks. If you have experience working with Yaupon Holly and you want to share it with everyone, put it in the comments below. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.